You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible.
We've got some, I would say people of color, but since white people have color too, we'll just say some non-white congresswomen who are in the United States Congress who seem to be engaged in a bit of a dust-up. New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, our sister from the Bronx, has accused House Speaker Nancy Pelosi of singling out newly elected women of color, newly elected non-white women, I'd say, in the Democratic Party. She's referring to the 4 freshmen who are known as the Squad. All of them, one way or another, have been interviewed, either covered on this show or talked to directly. And that, of course, is Ayanna Pressley from Massachusetts, Ilhan Omar, of course, of Minnesota, and Rashida Tlaib, who took over John Conyers' seat coming out of Detroit and Michigan. Pelosi has had, of course, denied it. Of course she has. And wants to keep the family business in the family. What do you all make of not only these 4 known as the Squad, and I tell you, I love their style. You can't, whatever else. You may not agree with them politically, but they are not going to be quiet. What is Pelosi's play here? What's her strategy of now beginning to heighten these things and say, well, there are only 4 votes. They don't represent anybody, as though only 4 people voted for them in their districts. I mean, what is Pelosi trying to accomplish by taking them on in the public sphere?
Pelosi is trying to maintain power. Okay. She is the Speaker of the House. She is the leader of the Democratic Party, right? Facto or de jure, de facto. She is trying to keep her base in line, and she's not going to be upstaged by a 20-some-year-old who can't afford to pay her rent in, right, in D.C.
Yes.
Fundamentally. And she is trying to make sure that her caucus stays in line. And in some ways, I kind of agree with her. I think AOC is, I appreciate the spirit that she brings to Congress. I appreciate the 4 women in the spirit that they bring in Congress.
No question.
But I also think she's out of control.
In what way?
I think she is out of control.
Out of control.
Out of control.
The Green New Deal is out of control. Policy is out of control.
I think.
I'll say this. So, having read the op-ed that Maureen Dowd did in New York Times,
say some more about that to the viewers, because they may not know.
So, if anybody, for your reading pleasure, I would encourage you, implore you to please pull up a piece that was done over the weekend. Nancy Pelosi with Maureen Dowd of the New York Times. It was staged. They were sitting down, eating, popping chocolates, just having a genteel, kind of setting. And so it kind of took me back, just framing it, thinking about antebellum, 2 women sitting on the veranda. This is what I got because of the language that was used in talking about. And I take offense to them being called the Squad. They are 4 duly elected representatives that serve their people in the United States Congress.
And all you have to do, if you want to see how prepared they are, turn on C-SPAN.
Please do.
And watch them on financial services.
Please do.
Watch them on judiciary.
Yes.
They are no more prepared.
No more prepared.
But anyways,
4 women of color who were duly elected, who are absolutely speaking truth to power. I applaud and love and champion each and every one of them, because though Speaker Pelosi does have the power of the gavel, the only reason she had it is because a group of people, meaning the American people, went to the ballot box, not all Democrats, that said, hello, we want a check on this president. So since you said that you're going to give that to us, then we are going to vote for you to do just that. And she reneged on that. And that also brought in new people as well, new blood. These women have been running a race for a very, very long time. So while they've only been in Congress for about a year, these women have been activists in their community for many years. So to not, take them away from what they've done since they've been in the House, these women have been doing that type of work in the streets.
And they're not the only. This is the interesting thing about it as well. Lucy McBath is coming out of Georgia.
Absolutely.
There are a number of
You have
2
Lauren
sisters who are
Underwood in Illinois. So there are other women who have been doing the same thing.
So why
they're
these
not
4?
Making as much noise.
Well, here's the thing.
But I'm not convinced. And I applaud their work and I love their energy, but I'm just not convinced the good noise, right? John Lewis talks about if you're going to fight,
making a good
And
fight,
you would
right?
use John Lewis as the example, brother. The most effective member of that's
But
tongue
he's
firmly planted in cheek.
effective in terms of what he does. His fight is effective. His
Is he now?
He's my congressman.
Okay, I'm not mad at him. He's a Civil War hero. I mean, I'm sorry, civil rights hero. I shouldn't say.
If you read that piece prior to the topic that we're specifically discussing, you will see Nancy Pelosi refer to them as these people. You will see the language in there that is very isolating, that is really saying to them, listen, y'all sit down, y'all have a seat. So as to say to a black woman, since I am a black woman and I understand the microaggressions, I understand the
and Dowd and Pelosi have a relationship. This is this whole distinction between brie and sausage and everything they're talking about in there. But fortunately, because I'm getting in my ear that we have been joined by our big brother. So I think we can go directly to another part of the world and bring into this conversation the host of Roland Martin Unfiltered to bring the funk. Is that Roland Martin? In all
Greg,
white,
what's happening?
Brother, you got to loan me that Koofy man and that dashiki. It's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for holding it down. I'm here in Nassau, Bahamas, of course, Global United Fellowship. First of all, let me just say this here. Glad y'all are sitting here having this conversation. So I'm here with Bishop Neil Ellis. I'm going to talk to him in just a second. I do want to weigh in on this whole deal here. The reality is this here. I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is absolutely correct. The Speaker Nancy Pelosi, she needs to watch her tone. Let me be real clear. Tone. White folks have a tendency to talk to black folks a certain way. Talk to people of color a certain way. And so I think in some ways Nancy Pelosi is jealous of the amount of attention that Ocasio-Cortez is getting as a result of her ascension to Congress. And so she also sort of wants to keep them in place. But the reality is, as I said, they were elected to be the kind of leaders they are being. That's what young bucks do. That's what freshmen are supposed to do. If you look at what happened on the Tea Party side, when you had new freshmen who came in, they were rambunctious. They were the exact same way. They would utilize their power. And so what Nancy Pelosi needs to be very careful, because this is the key. Nancy Pelosi can raise a lot of money. Nancy Pelosi cannot drive folks to the polls. Ocasio-Cortez went to Kansas with Senator Bernie Sanders. They went to places where Democrats have not done well. And so she must be extremely careful because they understand the power of young voters, the power of voices who have not been involved in politics. And that's the mistake that I believe Speaker Pelosi is making when she is so dismissive. She can say, look, I have great respect for all of our members. There are folks with different perspectives. My job as Speaker of the House is to pull all of those voices together. She needs the moderates who frankly come from a lot of red districts or red leaning districts. She needs those progressive voices as well. But I think it is a grave mistake on the part of Nancy Pelosi to be so disrespectful and the tone that she uses with these freshman members of Congress. And so to throw those 2 cents in.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. MarijuanaStock.org is another great investment opportunity. If you were lucky enough to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign, you, of course, now know that those folks are invested in a publicly traded company. They raised a ton of money in a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Now, of course, they have a new investment opportunity, which is as good or if not even better. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is the cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Now, until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that, making it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all the plants, which makes for an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is real simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to high-paying tenants. That's right. They are hemp CBD landlords. And you can get in on the action. You can invest in the crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. Like I said, you may not want to miss out this opportunity. Go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org to get in the game and to do it now. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.